Hey, NASDAQ, where you get the best dope on the markets. I am your technical analyst, ARP at NASDOG. What are we looking at here? Okay, so it's Friday, October 3rd. Okay, this is a crude oil chart here. This is last Friday here. Okay, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Which actually, I'm just looking at this particular, just that, closing high on a Friday and going down every day. Looks very similar to hogs. Maybe I'll just throw in a picture here. But here, so we got up Friday to 66.77. We got down to 60.22. Okay, so $5.50 break. Okay, here, and here's another one of these ones. You get out, you take the stops out. You did come up to this. Well, now look, check this out. See this light green over here, which is the high over here. Okay, I hope you can see it over there. Well, I'll fix it. Here. We'll just move this over here. Okay, so this, where was it? This light green, okay, this is a big sequence here, okay, from here to here. You got a light green, and then you got a green, okay? And then you could see I have another green. Okay, so we got two sequences going down here. Green, orange, thin olive, thick olive. And then you got this other green, this shorter one. These are a little longer, shorter green. You got the orange is right on top of there because you can only see one orange. And then there's a thin olive. Okay, one of those is different, the lower one. No, the higher one is the shorter term one. Okay, and so we went up from the green there down to this other green here. All I can tell you is these are just good pivots. They're just good pivots here. And, even in here, and listen, this is very hard, especially around these reds. You got two reds. But, here it's kind of the low, here it's the high, and then all of a sudden, then you bust through it, and then you come back up here, and it's the high. You got something else there, settlement price there. All right, we are going to talk about the grains here. Okay, so we had the beginning of the month. Okay, and ignore these little horizontal blue ones here. They sometimes get placed on here. Anyway, this is beans here. If you've been following it for a little while, 1027, 1025, okay, they have been numbers for a long time. Here we got a penny over the 27. What was the high? 28 in the goats or something like that. I'm going to move that back here. Yeah, the 1028 and 3/4. Okay, and we got a reversal down. Here yesterday, here the high was 1025. That's that powder blue. We came down here. I had an olive down here at 93 or 96, exactly the same one. Depends if you throw out the overnight trade. 93 was the overnight low, actually, and 96 was the day session low 2 days ago. Okay. These would be just on the downside here. I don't know. This kind of seems like, we're in October here. If anybody's looking to buy beans, they're buying beans right now here. Argentina just sold a boatload. About 20 million metric tons is what, it's what I hear it was. 20 million metric tons times 35 million bushels. Or 20 times 35 million, to give you an idea. So quite a bit of beans sold here into the worldwide market here. Let's just look at corn here. Okay, corn has had this area right here, 17, like around 20 to 17. We've been here forever. Here you can see a little head and shoulders bottom. That, as a matter of fact, let's take that off. Okay. And then these would be your numbers. Green, orange, thin olive, thick olive, and you got something else in there also, another olive. The thin olive goes with this thick one down there. 376, that was hit last year, okay, in a different contract, right before first notice day. So this is a look at corn here. We really have to get over this 30, 32 level here, although I have stuff to, coming into harvest, I think this is where farmers would be wanting to, if we got up here, another 20 cents. So that would be, 4 times 5, about 5%, 4 or 5% higher here in the corn. So, and this will kind of get people jacked up here, a head and shoulders bottom, inverse head and shoulders bottom here. Let's just go touch on wheat here. Wheat is, wheat's the dog. They got, really good crops around the world. just remember this: they're every single day of the year they're harvesting wheat somewhere in the world. So this is what we have here. We've been kind of making new lows, kind of snap out of it a little bit, new lows, and snap out, new lows. So, and then here we got some trend lines here, and we just can't even catch a bid here. These are a couple weekly closes here, you know, just to keep you straight. One thing that kind of did look a little different here was, you know, for a long time it's been buy oil, sell meal here. Well, here we got another little bounce here in the, you know, we got one in August. This was, you know, but otherwise we were making you know, I think it was a multi-decade low in the meal, you know, and because they're crushing for soybean oil. So anyway, meal got a little bit of a bounce here. So that's kind of like what they do the opposite on the oil share. So they'd be buying meal, selling oil. Here's the bean oil here. You know, this was an area down here, this under 49 here. This was an area to pay attention to. We didn't quite get there. Here you came down, you hit some kind of trend line here. As a matter of fact, look at this. Trend line on the high, trend line on the low. And so we came back up here. All of a sudden, you know, you're making new highs by ticks. Kind of like over here, too. And then right here, you go tag those X's. You come over here one more time. I don't know. I would think you could probably buy this lower here. What do we got there? 49.49 there. Okay, so you got 49.52. So there's two levels right there. If you're looking to buy this thing, just because we had a big ass up day here the other day, 49.20, 150 points range up to 50.75. Oh, you know what? Let me go find that hog chart here for a second. This is silver. We're not going to talk about silver and gold in this video here. This is gold here. These are the S&Ps, all-time highs, NAS, all-time highs. Well, look at that. Look at that. Little tiny outside down bar. Who knows? It's early. Well, no, it's not early. It's 2:40 p.m. Oh, yeah. I wanted to talk about the dollar. This is the dollar index here over for about 7-8 years. Okay, so this down here is 88, you know, 102, 90, 115. This is where we are right now here. Gotta happen to have a green down here. I have no comment. I'm just giving you a little color here. You know, so here you get, you know, you get a little one of these here. Let me just draw a little trend line here. That's not exact. That's the dollar index. You know, so that should be helping out our exporters. Let's touch on, we're doing ags here. So this is cotton. Check this out though here. So this is a sequence here, green, orange, thin olive, thick olive. Thick olive is 6509. Just check this out. Okay, so we took it out by like 40 ticks, okay, and we bounce, okay. We come back the next day and look at where we closed. We closed right there. See, it's out towards the bottom there, right above NC, which is net change. 6609. Okay, so I talk about that. The olive line buyer here, without spooking anybody, they could, you know, if we're under here, they'll buy as much as they can here that the market will bear back up to 65.09 without spooking anyone. Here, today's range, we come up here and we come down here. What was the range here? 64.80 to 65.75. So I'm just approximating here. There's some notes there. That goes out to client letters here. This is coffee here. Here's cocoa here. These are new lows here. Cocoa. This is sugar here. Okay, we're not going to talk about sugar here. This is coffee. Coffee, I talked about this. When you get over these olives here, you come back, you buy the green. Here it was buying the green, and we had a little rally. Here's one of these ones. They just hose you, man. It's just it's anal sex the hard way, you know. It seems to be the Democrats. They're all talking about it, and kids, and oh my goodness, it's disgusting. DOA, degradation of America. Anyway, so as sloppy as this coffee was, it was one day through here, you know, and it's $375 per one, you know, per 100, 360 to 361. 10 is 3,750, 3,775, 375 times 10. Anyway, so here we are. We come back here to the olive cell. They're still playing this thing. Come down here, a little outside up bar. You know, you can't, in my opinion, you cannot be short coffee. You just can't. Here you got some kind of trend line, probably off some old highs. All right, I said we go talk about, just to show you that hog chart there. This is the hogs here, right here. Okay, last Friday they had a hog report. Okay, I thought they said it was bullish. Okay, so is that one of those buy the rumor, sell the news? So anyway, this was Friday. Monday, we open higher, a little higher here. Can't take out yesterday's previous day's high. You do one of these, you close lower. Actually, it's a bearish engulfing next day, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. Very similar to crude, you know. You got a little green body on that bar. Let's just do 2 seconds here on cattle here. This is the range. This is a interday chart here. We keep coming down here. You can see some upward trend line support here. The same kind of thing. We hung in here today. We did not get over yesterday's high. It's just what we did in cattle here today. What do we got? We're up 23% plus on the cattle on the year. So if you need some charts with some levels, you play your own game, or you need some help, or you need a broker, email me arp@nasdog.com, where you get the best dope on the market. Always use a risk stop to stop the risk. Thanks for watching.